Madam Clerk, are we ready?
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Good morning. It is 11 a.m. on Thursday, March 7th, and I call this special meeting of the Bonner County Board of Commissioners to order. For the record, I am Chairman Luke Ahmet, and Commissioners Asia William and Steve Bradshaw are present. Today we have two items on our agenda, and they are both regarding the trespass of two different citizens of Bonner County.
Point of order. I call for a conflict of interest.
Overruled.
Commissioner,
So our next,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You said overruled.
that is correct.
So I think we should have a discussion before the county gets exposed.
And
for
you are
additional
overruled,
costs.
Commissioner, and we will continue with the agenda. Our first matter of business today is in regards to the trespass of a Mr. Rick Kramer. Bonner County Ordinance 1-200 was enacted for the purpose of establishing a regular meeting schedule for the Bonner County Board of Commissioners in order that the board activities can be carried out with greater public participation and awareness in 1990. The purpose of the regular business meeting is for the Board of County Commissioners to conduct the business of Bonner County publicly. Regular business meetings do not constitute public hearings wherein the public has the right to be heard on every agendized item. However, at the discretion of the chair, everyone may be afforded an opportunity to speak on a particular issue if recognized by the chair. Any unrecognized comments or disruptive behavior will be grounds for removal from the board meeting by the chair and may subject the person being removed to criminal prosecution according to law. Meetings of the Bonner County Board of Commissioners are a governmental process with a governmental purpose. The BOCC has an agenda to be addressed and dealt with in an orderly and civil manner. Rick Kramer's behavior has repeatedly disrupted Bonner County regular business meetings. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, based on the information before us, I move to trespass Rick Kramer from the Bonner County Administration Building for 1 year starting on January 26, 24 to 1/25/25. Have the chairman draft a signed written notice identifying the conduct giving rise to the trespass, provide means for access to necessary county services, and a method to appeal.
I will step down and second the motion. Is there discussion amongst the Board of Commissioners?
There is discussion. One, I'm going to be clear on legal opinion. Bonner County Commissioners have received a legal opinion for the record that doing this is a big mistake. Instead of formatting the trespass of these individuals, the recommendation from council was take the opportunity to revoke the previous action and instead ask them to return to the meetings in a polite and respectful manner. We already face great risk from previous actions taken against these two, and I would rather see us de-escalate the situation instead of proceeding down this road. This particular document does not identify any behavior. It's very generic in nature, and I believe that both you, Commissioner Ahmet, and Commissioner Bradshaw have no right to actually make a decision in this case. I believe there's a significant conflict of interest. Both you and Commissioner Bradshaw are named as co-defendants against the county with respect to the trespass of Mr. Kramer. It is not appropriate for either of you to cast a vote or have this discussion. You should have made these decisions prior to actually kicking the people out of this office. You're currently now trying to clean up because of litigation received, and that's grossly inappropriate. I'm going to point out to you that if you look on this Zoom link, the attorney for this individual is watching this decision. I am begging you, Bonner County cannot afford this. This case is Bonner County, this case is Luke Ahmet, and this case is Steve Bradshaw. The decision now will be on the board if these two make this decision, which puts it squarely in front of Bonner County for this decision. Our actions by our attorney are not supported if you guys move this forward. Whether you like what happened or not, you are potentially going to bankrupt Bonner County by making a post-arrest, post-litigation notice decision when you clearly have a conflict of interest. I am begging you to not do this. You don't have the recommendation of counsel, and he told you that again this morning. I have personally asked for a legal opinion as to whether or not either of you can reasonably address anything related to trespass, Rick Kramer, or Dave Bowman, because you're party to the case. I haven't received an answer at this time. This is post haste for your own personal gain. When you look for conflict of interest, you have to identify whether or not there's a monetary, what is to gain. If through their role as a commissioner, they alter these two cases that are potential to go to litigation, we can actually identify a value. Using our prosecutor's office is actually legal advice. There's a value to that. So anything related to those two, if you do that now, it will set the precedent for Bonner County going downhill fast. We do not have the budget for that. This is an improper decision. You don't even identify what they've done. You just say they've come disruptive. If you look at our yesterday's meeting, how disruptive, disrespectful were you too? I've stated repeatedly, please stop doing it. What you guys do is you treat the public poorly, but then you expect them not to be
Commissioner Williams, I am going to bring
So
you back to the motion
this is-
that is at hand. This is the motion,
this is
our
the
standing
discussion.
rules.
This is
Commissioner,
discussion.
is there any further deliberation?
No, this
None.
is discussion that you guys owe
Roll
for
call
Bonner
vote, Chair.
County to
Hold on.
actually discuss it.
You are overruled, and you are bringing
It's
up
not
items that are.
overruled, it's called discussion.
Commissioner Williams,
Commissioner
there is a
Ahmed.
motion on the,
It's called,
there is
a list of discussion.
Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
A discussion about what you're doing is actually necessary. We are getting sued. And you guys are just gonna make a motion and say nothing about any of the objective
Point of-
things I said.
point of order
I
to the
guarantee
item
you,
that
Dan
is on
Sheckler
the
has written
agenda.
down
The
everything
item
I
on the
said.
agenda.
Yes.
I believe our qualifications
We
are
were
quite
also
clear.
told you don't trespass for a year.
The item on the
Yes.
agenda.
Actually, you do.
Is the motion on the floor is, there is a motion and a second to trespass Rick Kramer on the floor. Roll call vote.
So you don't get to, you're not going to discuss anything about this. You're just gonna, again, not give any explanation to the county of why you
There-
bankrupt us.
Roll call vote. Please proceed with the vote.
For concerns? Commissioner Williams?
No.
Commissioner Ahmed?
Yes,
Commissioner Bradshaw?
Yes.
the motion carries. Our next agendized item is the trespass of Mr. Dave Bowman. Bonner County Ordinance 1-200 was enacted for the purpose of establishing a regular meeting scheduled for the Bonner County Board of Commissioners in order that the board activities can be carried out with greater public participation and awareness in 1990. The purpose of the regular business meeting is for the Board of County Commissioners to conduct the business of Bonner County publicly. Regular business meetings do not constitute public hearings wherein the public has the right to be heard on every agendized item. However, at the discretion of the chair, everyone may be afforded an opportunity to speak on a particular issue if recognized by the chair. Any unrecognized comments or disruptive behavior would be grounds for removal from the board meeting by the chair and may subject the person being removed to criminal prosecution according to law. Members of the BOCC are a governmental process with a governmental purpose. The BOCC has an agenda to be addressed and dealt with in an orderly and civil manner. Dave Bowman's behavior has repeatedly disrupted Bonner County regular business meetings. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, based on the information before us, I move to trespass Dave Bowman from Bonner County Administration Building for 1 year, starting on 1/26/24, 1/25/25. Have the chairman draft and sign a written notice identifying the conduct giving rise to the trespass, provide means for access to necessary county services, and a method to appeal.
Is there deliberation? I will step down from the chair and second the motion. There is a motion and a second on the floor. Is there deliberation amongst the Board of County Commissioners?
There is deliberation from this commissioner. I'll restate that we have been advised not to move forward in this direction. You have not identified what the issue and concern is. You have a conflict of interest as you are likely going to be a co-defendant if a suit comes forward on this issue. You have grossly disregarded legal. You're not even discussing it. And you are putting Bonner County at risk for bankruptcy of additional restrictions when you've been advised to welcome these two individuals back into Bonner County building. It is absolutely not acceptable that the two of you don't actually, if you're going to make the wrong decision, that's fine, but you should explain why you're making this decision and you're not. The chairman presides authority that you continually tout in front of people in these meetings. If I was the attorney on this, I could actually go through every one of your behaviors that
But
actually
you're
would
not
be
an
worse
attorney,
than.
Mr.
Commissioner
Williams.
Williams,
That
there
would
is a
be worse
motion and a
than.
second on the floor.
This is
Let's
called
keep.
discussion. I
My
don't-
behaviors are not what is being
Because
deliberated right here.
No, actually,
Keep
it
your-
is. It is exactly
Commissioner
your behaviors.
Williams,
Commissioner
no.
Ahmed,
Point of order.
This is about This is
Accepted.
about you making a
Commissioner Williams, there
decision.
is a motion and a second on
And
the
it's
floor,
called
and that is.
discussion. We're discussing
No,
your
we are-
decision. Yes,
We are
that's called
discussing the motion and the
Point of
second on
order
the
has
floor.
been
We're
called, Mr. Chairman.
discussing, we're
Yes, it has.
discussing what you're
Commissioner-
doing. If you want to call for a vote,
The
call
motion
for a
and the
vote.
second, I was going to respond. May I have your permission to speak, Commissioner?
You know what? It's unnecessary what you're doing. I would really like you to tell why you're doing this to the county and how
Commissioner-
this is in the county's best interest to disregard legal. I would go ahead and do that.
Thank you for your permission. These decisions are being made to protect the operations of Bonner County. Bonner County is a governmental corporation with a governmental purpose. Enforcing the rules of decorum and civility at our meetings is the responsibility of the chair.
So you're going to
State-
kick
Commissioner-
Bradshaw out of this meeting?
Commissioner Williams,
I'm asking you. This is
Commissioner-
called discussion. Are you going to remove Bradshaw, who has a restraining order, from this meeting?
Commissioner Williams.
The
I don't believe I've ever
inconsistency
been
will cost
removed
us.
from office. Thank you.
Well, Commissioner Williams.
It is very
I-
germane that you
you-
answer that.
Commissioner Williams, in regards to that one, I will give a very brief response, which is that went before a judge
Exactly.
of the state of
Which meant it
Idaho.
was proven that it was necessary to
Commissioner
provide that
Williams.
protection.
We are
Point of
here
order.
today to address the motion and the second on the floor. The employees of this county have a right to go to work unhindered. The employees of this county and the taxpayers of this county have a right to their governmental services. That is the statutory obligation of the Board of County Commissioners. The meetings of Bonner County have come to such a point and I have had many employees come and say thank you for working to restore order and civility at these meetings. When our employees are concerned, and I have spouses of employees stopping me in a grocery store and saying, I don't know if I want my employees to work at Bonner County because of the rancor and the dysfunction, that is so concerning to me. Our employees are the lifeblood of the operations that allow us to provide the statutory services to all of the citizens of Bonner County. When people make threats of violence, when they rush the table, when they refuse to follow the lawful statements of the chair. I did not write ordinance 1-200, but it is written into ordinance, and the ordinance is clear. Complying with the ordinance as it is written is the following the rule of law, which is what we were asked to do when we raised our right hands, and you and I issued our oaths as given on January 9th by Judge Burries. I absolutely stand by protecting the rights of employees to work in a safe environment and for the operations of Bonner County to continue. Is there any further deliberation?
There is.
have
So if that is your position, where is it that you hold up your obligation to make good decisions for Bonner County? Because you have to accept that legal has told you not to do this. You have to accept that litigation is already pointing at us. You have to accept that you too shouldn't even be making a decision about this because you're party to the tort that was filed. And you're ignoring
I guess we
those-
resigned
you're-
and didn't know it.
I didn't realize there was
Yeah, I didn't
a
realize
tort that was
we had
filed. There
stepped
was an
down.
intent to file a tort, but that is not why we're here, and I am not
I'm
going
sorry,
to.
no.
So,
No, but, so I'm going to point, this should be something that you're willing to have actually quite a bit of conversation, especially since my concern is litigation that you've already
that's,
been noticing.
Commissioner Williams, I
You're-
will draw your attention back to there is a motion and a second on the floor.
And I'm
I am
having a
not.
discussion.
And Commissioner
You're
Williams, we are
assum-
not going to discuss potential litigation because that's not what this
You-
motion is about. Regardless of how much you might try to draw that, there is a motion and a second on the floor to trespass Dave Bowman from the Bonner County
What
Administration
was the
Building
behavior?
for
Or
1
is-
year.
What was the
That will be
behavior?
addressed, written.
I
There will
think we
be
should say
a,
that in this hearing before
I
you
went
vote
over
to
to my-
trespass. Shouldn't you
Is there-
say what the issue is before you trespass?
Roll
Because
call
you
vote.
can't support your decision.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
No.
Commissioner Arnold,
Yes.
Commissioner Bradshaw.
Yes, ma'am.
The motion carries. It is 11:14 and this meeting is adjourned.